This is my rank 1 zombie eldlich deck. Took me about 5 days to get rank 1. Let me show my match history. Pretty strong win rate. And without further ado, let's go into this profile. Keep in mind that this is a free-to-play zombie deck. I did not spend any money to get any of these cards for this deck. So let's start with the beginning. Glow Bloom is probably the strongest. I think it's the strongest card in the deck. When it hits the graveyard, you can banish it to add a level 5 or higher zombie from your deck to your hand. And if you have Zombie World, you can special summon that monster. So it's your easy access into getting our Golden Lords, our Baylor Drotches, and our Jacoborans. Of course, play 2 maxi. I'd play 3 if I had a third one. No ultra, no UR stuff to make another. So I ran 2. For a while I was only running 1 when I only had 1. Triple Uni. This is your main combo starter to dump the Glow Blooms to grave and to also dump the Necrold Banshees and Mizukis to graveyard. It's also a tuner, which is very powerful, letting you have access into Chaos Ruler. There's your best combo starter. Ash, standard hand trap negation. The nice thing about Ash in this deck is since it is a zombie, it does trigger your Baylor Drotch, which I'll explain when we get to it. Play triple Mizuki. You can banish this card to res a zombie from grave. Very great to mill with the grass, obviously. Just lets you. It's another free extender. Shiranui Solitaire, tribute to zombie to special zombie tuner with 0 defense. So you can either bring out the Glow Bloom, but you're usually always going for the Uni Zombie to then dump the Glow Bloom to grave. The 1 Snow, you can banish 7 cards from anywhere, special summon it, or from your deck or hand or field, special summon it, and then you Book of Moon something, and it's not a once per turn, which is really nice. Amazing extender when you mill it off of grass. Gozuki has a similar effect to Uni to dump from deck to grave a zombie. It also gives you an additional zombie normal summon. If it is sent to the grave and you banish another zombie from your graveyard, you can special a zombie from your hand. Very great extender to mill off of grass. And it's a pseudo Uni, not as good, but still comes in handy. Triple Necrold Banshee. This has a quick effect where you can banish it from field or grave to play your Zombie World. I'd max it on 3. I think Zombie World is just so powerful in the metagame, and being able to, essentially play a Zombie World on your turn, it gets destroyed, and then you can chain a Banshee, play another one, which is great. 2 Jacobolan, you can special summon this guy by pitching a zombie, and during your opponent's main phase, you can special a zombie from either player's graveyard by banishing him, and he comes back during the next standby. And or was it during the end phase? Let me check actually. Until the end phase. So he leaves until the end phase, and the monster special summoned by him gets banished when it leaves the field. This card is amazing in the Eldlich Mirror match. I usually just take their Golden Lords, and once they remove him from play, once they remove their Golden Lord from play, they gets banished. You can use this to snatch combo pieces from grave when they're trying to reborn them or res them or use their grave effects. Amazing card. One of the two MVPs, Baylor Drotch. During the standby, if you have a face-up field spell, he comes back to life, which you almost always have Zombie World up. And once per chain, you can activate one of his effects, which could be to negate a zombie effect or to banish a card from the field or grave, which means it does not target, which is great. So this has helped a lot with the Eldlich Mirror match, or just in general against so many decks. You can just keep banishing resources and outgrind them with the infinite returnal every standby phase. It's just ridiculous. And paired with Vampire Sucker, it's great too, which I could explain that interaction when I get to it. And the MVP of the deck, Golden Lord, he has a hand effect where you can pitch any spell or trap from your hand, target a card in the field, and you send it to the grave. So he pretty much just gets over over anything on your opponent's board. It's so good. It can out anything, or he can send your own spell and traps to grave to get your combos going. And his in-grave effect is you can send a spell or trap from the field to the graveyard to bounce him back to hand, and then you can special a zombie monster from your hand, which gains 1,000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effects. Which you can either summon himself, get out a Baylor Drotch, a lot of great utility. Or you can literally just keep him in hand if you have another spell and trap in hand, and then use his hand effect. So Golden Lord is great for... He's just an infinite recurring 3500 beater that also can get rid of any problematic card on board by pitching himself in a spell. It just having the utility of turning any spell or trap in your deck into a 3500 beater is insanity. That's why he's played so frequently. I played the one Regeki, just nice and simple board wipe. Play the one Metal Fist Fusion. This card can shuffle itself into the deck to draw one. It's fusion summon. It's a fusion effect. Well, its other effect doesn't really matter. You can use it. You can pitch it with Golden Lord or mill it and just shuffle it in the deck to draw one card. So it's a nice recursion of resources. Obviously, the bread and butter of the deck, 3 grass. If you have more cards in your deck than your opponent does, send cards from the top of your deck to the grave until you have an equal amount. Well, you can see why this is 60 cards. It's so, you mill 20, and then you GG no re them. I actually love this card, Zombie Necronize. If you have a level 5 or higher zombie monster, it's just a normal spell, brain control. But the nice utility about this card is you can shuffle a banished zombie into the deck to reset it, and it gets banished once it leaves the field after that effect. But it's just nice to... You can pitch him with Golden Lord, recur a resource, and reset it. It's just a nice little value card. The one Lightning Storm, I'd probably play more if I had more. Great card, amazing. It either nukes all attack position monsters or nukes all back row. If you can only activate it if you control no face ups though, which is the only little downside, but still a broken card. And let's get to the first of the Elixir spells. This one lets you special summon a zombie from your deck, but it has to be Golden Lord unless you control Golden Lord. And like all of the other Eldlich spells and traps, the Eldixirs, you can banish them from the grave if you haven't activated their other effect per turn and set a Golden Land spell or trap. So it's just, you can see where this deck is going. It's just an accruing of resources through... Hopefully you either, play through your Golden Lord engine, or you just resolve a grass and just get an insane amount of advantage. We played 3 pots. They either eat the ash for your grass, or they help you dig into the grass. It's just, this card's great since it does not draw a lot, and the extra deck isn't super important since our boss monsters from deck can usually always handle the job. And the triple zombie world, amazing card, which keeps our Baylor Drotch always live, because since zombie world makes all all monsters on the field and grave zombies, Baylor Drotch can pretty much always be live to negate a zombie effect from anywhere, which is nice. And the reason some people play 2, I max it on 3 because I'm playing 60 card. I want to see the 3 Banshee or the 3 Zombie World. I need to see one. You can't win. It's really hard to win without seeing the Zombie Worlds. And I don't want to grass and mill on my Zombie Worlds because Banshee only plays from the deck. So that's why I play 3. Just in case I mill 2, I can still resolve the Banshee. And one of the best spells in the deck, Cursed Eldland. You can pay 100 to add an Eldritch monster or a Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if this card's sent from the field to the grave, or the spell and trap zone to the grave, you can dump an Eldritch monster or one Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. So you could essentially, a great combo starter is if you open Cursed Eldland and you have any other trap in hand, any other Eldritch spell or trap, you can add the Golden Lord, pitch the Golden Lord and the spell or trap that you had in hand, send the Eldland to grave, dump a trap, a Golden Land spell with a different name than the one you pitched, and that's a double search end phase. Or if you're going second, you search for your Golden Lord, you pitch your spell or trap, you remove a card from their field, and then you send your Cursed Eldland from your field to grave to reborn your Golden Lord, which, you know, gets you your boy on board, and then 2 cards end phase, which is just, it's so strong. Such insane recursion and value with this card, and that's why it's at 2. And we play the double Super Poly. Super Poly is an unrespondable board wipe, pretty much. Lets you fusion summon using both players' boards, and neither player can respond with card effects when it's activated. And I'll explain the targets real quick since we're on this card. I play the 1 zombie Necro, or the Dragon Necro, and this just takes 2 zombie monsters. So under Zombie World, I can use any 2 monsters on my opponent's board, which is just amazing. And for my 2 generic fusions, I play the Starving Venom, which is pretty standard to summon. You know, 2 darks. A lot of decks use dark monsters. And this is more of a tech. You could replace this for a different card. I play the Shadal Construct because I hate Shadals and I pulled this card, so might as well use it. That's my mentality with it. Didn't feel like crafting any other Super Poly targets when I had so many other cards I need to craft. But I have to say that you do need the Starving Venom and the Zombie Necro. They're amazing targets. And on to the next Elixir spell, we have the 1 quick play White Destiny. This specials a zombie monster from your hand or grave. If you don't control an Eldritch monster, though, you have to summon Golden Lord and the same standard flow into a Golden Land. And the best trap in the deck, triple Elixir Scarlet Sanguine. This lets you special summon a zombie monster from your deck or graveyard. Unless you have no Eldritch, then you have to special the Golden Lord. The reason why this one is so good is you can activate it during your opponent's turn to either fetch your Golden Lord to get all of your traps and your counter trap live, or you could fetch your Baylor Drotch, or you could fetch your Jackal Bolon. So it just lets you essentially get any combo piece you're missing, and then it floats during your next turn because you can banish it to search Golden Land Spell or Trap. So it's just insane amounts of value. It's pretty much just says summon a boss monster and search. Amazing. The 1 Solemn Judgment, this would probably be changed into Maxi once I get a 3rd one. Solemn is a great card. I wouldn't blame you for playing a playset of these either, though, allowing you to keep things like Zombie World and your rivalries up and running. And the next Golden Land card, Golden Land Forever. It's essentially an Omni Negate when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated. If I control an Eldritch monster, I contribute a zombie and negate the activation, which it's a nice little interaction here too. If you have the Golden Land Forever and an Eldritch already on board with the set Sanguine, you can always summon a Glow Up Bloom off of the Sanguine. So when you use this counter trap, you contribute the Glow Bloom, then resolve its effect, and then special another boss monster. So you can get both the negate while keeping up all your boss monster zombies. And the card that makes people the most salty, 2 Rivalry. I was playing 3, but there's a lot of decks that if you don't see Zombie World and you see the Rivalry, they just don't care. Like Tri Brigade, you know. There's a few decks I can think of that can play around Rivalry without giving a shit. So that's why I bumped this one down to 2. But the combo that no deck can pretty much beat is Zombie World Rivalry. So once they control a monster and you activate Rivalry while you have Zombie World on the field, since the only monster they control is a zombie, now they're locked into zombies, and usually since they're not playing a zombie deck, the only things they can summon from is the grave, because they're gonna have no all the monster types in their deck is gonna be not zombie, which is pretty disgusting, not letting your opponent summon. And to wrap it up with the Golden Land traps, we play 2 Hakaru. Special summons itself as an 1800 attack, 1500 beater, And if you control a Golden Lord, you can banish a card from either graveyard. And it has the floating effect during the end phase. But these banish to search for Eldlich cards, which include, the traps, the spell, and the quick play spell. And this one has the same clause, 500 attack, 1800 defense, special summon it, and if you have a Golden Lord, you can destroy a card on the field. And let's get on to the extra deck. So I already explained the fusions. Chaos Ruler, amazing card. I'd recommend to craft this anyway because you can play it in so many decks. Generic, rank 8, excavate the top 5 cards, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated light or dark monster among them. The remaining go to grave. And you can banish a light or dark from the grave and you bring him back, but banish him when he leaves the field. He's just really good to help set up your graveyard, get your mills. And if I had it, I would be cutting this Levier for Hope Harbinger. It's a rank 8. I forget the number that it is. I'd cut that. I cut this. I'll just search it real here. You guys can see it. I would definitely switch out the Levier for number 38. If you have the dust for it. And let's get onto this engine. This engine's broken. I got to rank 1 without using these. I think I had them for like the last 2 games, but I only used it I don't even know if I used it, but it took me a while to craft these. But rank 10, you can make these with the Golden Lords. Once per turn, you can detach off of this to deal 2k, and you can slap this over the railgun, and this becomes a 6k beater, and it's the only card that could declare an attack that turn, but it's just fucking huge. And it can attack up to the materials it has +1 to monsters. So if they have no monsters on board or you clear board, you can just go Gustav, burn 2k, slap this on top, grade to 6k, OTK. And then after, you can slap the Zeus on top of the fucking train, which is nice. And let's go on to the links. Link 1, you play this mainly to get the Glow Blooming Grave, because sometimes you literally just need a raw normal summon this guy and get him into grave if your hand's bad enough. Another great option for this is Link Karibo. If you have this instead, you could always play that over the Anima. I love Anima though because if your opponent summons in front of an extra monster zone, you can try to snatch it. Just some really nice utility. Some people also don't play around those zones too well. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, great card. You could run Phoenix. You could switch this out for a Unicorn. They're both great cards. And I run 2 Vampire Sucker. This is the link. One of the links you're going to be summoning most in the deck. Well, definitely the one you should be summoning the most. The tribute effect doesn't matter too much. You could target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field, but it becomes a zombie. The nice thing is once per turn, when a zombie monster summoned from grave, you get a draw. So you could, if you really need to, you could summon like a Ash from their grave or any other monster if you have Zombie World, just to get your net 1 draw. And on top of this, if you have Rivalry already and Zombie World, if you bring back, or even if you just have Rivalry, you can bring back an Ash from their grave, and then during their main phase, you can activate a Rivalry of the Warlords, and now they're just stuck into zombies. So this just has nice utility with Rivalry as well. But you mainly play it for the +1 off of Baylor Droch, because he returns from every standby phase. If there's a field spell, you can link him away into the sucker, and then during their standby phase, trigger the Baylor Droch to bring him back from grave, and then you get to draw. Which the other nice utility with that is if you need to banish a card, you could summon the Baylor Droch, Vampire Sucker's effect triggers to draw, and now you can chain Baylor Droch's effect because a zombie effect is activating. You can chain it, and you could either banish a card on the field or negate the sucker, which you would never want to negate the sucker, obviously. But that is amazing. And my most slept on link, Avenged Savior. I did not think he'd be as good as he is. This card puts in stupendous amounts of work. Takes 2 zombies. You can target a Vendread card in your grave, add it to your hand. I guess it's nice if you're running 2 of him or playing Vendread cards. You can loop him. During damage calc, if this card battles an opponent's monster, Very important that it's damage calculation. A lot of effects cannot interact during damage calculation, so you can get over a lot of different cards. You can send one zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. That opponent's monster loses attack equal to that level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 200. So pretty much it's a link to that gets you any missing zombie piece you need during battle. It's similar to a Hayate. The only sad thing is your opponent needs to control a monster for you to get the dump. But theoretically, in my build, since the highest level is a 10, this can beat over anything with 3500 or more, or just crash into a 3600 beater, which is pretty nuts off of a Link 2. And we play the one Avramax. Takes 2 monsters special summon from the extra deck, a Link 4. While this Link summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. Once per battle during damage calc, if this card battles a special summon monster, quickie, you can make this card gain attack equal to that opponent monster's attack during that damage calculation only. If this Link summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can shuffle one card on the field into the deck. So it's just so fucking annoying to get over. This card, a lot of decks don't have main deck outs, which there's no side in this deck, so that means you win. And to wrap it up, I pulled one of these, so I got lucky. One access code talker. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. If this card is Link Summon, you can target one Link that was used as material for its Link Summon. This card gains attack equal to that monster's Link rating. So even if you use a Link 2, it becomes a 4300 beater, which is pretty crazy. You can banish one Link monster from your field or grave. Destroy one card your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot banish monsters with that same attribute to activate this effective access code. So access code, as you can tell, is an OTK machine. You know, you bring it out after you have like two or three Links in grave. You could either get them to like a 5300 beater, and then you can like nuke 2 cards on board. So, and it's 2 effective monsters, so it's just super generic OTK potential. Another card I wouldn't blame you for playing over this if you have it is like a Borreload or Borrelsword. I just think that every deck needs to have these kind of closer Link form monsters, especially a slower, like a deck like Eldlich. Like, you know, you never want to let your opponent live 2 more turns than you have to because you don't have the extra deck to close it out, because sometimes that's all they need. And that's it for the deck profile. Now let's get into some duels, guys.